Hi, how is everyone today? If you're not familiar with who I am, my name is Galen. I go by Chef Galen. I'm a certified holistic nutritionist and dietary health coach. So today I am going to be talking about overcoming trauma and how to do that naturally. So I'm the CEO of the Holistic Institute of Global Experts. And I was talking to one of my experts today, and so powerful. She's from India, so she's going to be on one of my shows at the end of this month. But we were talking about trauma and how to heal from it. And I loved her approach to it because a lot of times when we constantly put blame on those who have put us through a lot of abuse and torment, throughout life, it's very hard to forgive. It's very hard to forgive and let go. And a lot of times we don't. We go through our entire lives without even forgiving and letting go. And the dark part of that is we're not hurting anybody else but ourselves, okay? And a lot of times we don't want to let go of something someone has done to us because of the simple fact that we feel like they deserve it. And we don't trust when God says vengeance is mine. We don't trust it. We don't believe it. We don't believe that they are going to get what's coming to them for what they've done to us. And once we learn to let go and to really receive what God has for us and really find a place of forgiving, that is when you find freedom, your life starts opening up, you're able to move past that trauma. If you hold on to that trauma and you don't let go of it, the biggest and most crazy thing that happens is you actually end up in the same kind of trauma with just a different person in a different circumstance. So that's why you might hear all the time when people talk about like trauma bonding and also I wrote a few things down here in my notes. Codependency, recognizing if you have been in a toxic relationship, 9 times out of 10 you were actually codependent in it. So especially those who have been in narcissistic situations. I was in a narcissistic relationship which ended up getting it was very abusive, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, all the things. But it was very codependent on my end until I learned, I finally escaped that situation, which is very difficult to do. Once I escaped that situation, and then I ended up finding a place of healing, I actually grabbed a hold of all that was going on, and I took the responsibility of saying, I allowed myself to get into a relationship with this person because of the fact that I was emotionally attached to them in an unhealthy way, okay? So learning how to let go of that and understanding that when you're in a toxic situation that you're trapped, but there is hope. There is hope on the other side of it, okay? Once you pull yourself out, or even when you're actually in it, you're just trying to make it to the next day, you're just trying to find a safe place. I encourage you to make a plan, but while you're making the plan to escape such a dark place that you're in, I always say it usually takes about 2 years, especially if you have kids, that it's really important to work on yourself, okay? Physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Because once you come out of that and you're no longer with that person or near that person, whether it's a family member or a friend or whatever, you will be so much further ahead in the game if you've taken that time to really work on yourself and find a place of healing, okay? So that's super important, all right? And the universe will align you into actually what you're really wanting and dreaming and hoping for. Like, you do not have to live in that space forever. Trust me. I mean, I know if you're there right now, you feel like so trapped. It's like, how can I get out of this? Does anyone even hear me? And another huge component of being in that space is that you actually feel a lot of not just fear, but a lot of shame. Like, how did I get myself into this? This is so like embarrassing, especially if you're a high powered person or you just seem in the community someone who has a lot of strength and charisma, and on the outside looking in, you look so strong, which you are. That's just a part of it. That I just want you to know that's part of your life. And sometimes when we go through something really hard as children, we end up that feels familiar. And the familiarity is what draws us to toxic people if we haven't found healing yet. But let me tell you something, you can break that cycle. You can break that cycle right now, right here and now. You can call it out and you can say, I'm no longer gonna do this. I cannot. And there is a whole life for you out there. And this is going to be just part of your story. And God's gonna use it to heal, touch, help others get out of these crazy abusive situations. You've got this. Yes, you can. Okay. So the spirit will actually help you, like getting ready to get rid of like all this negativity. Okay. So holding on to spirituality is so comforting and empowering through this journey as well, and surrounding yourself with other people who may have gone through it or that are a real strength to you while you're going through it. But not, let me make this clear. You don't want to share this with people who are going to continually badger the other person, because that's not going to help your energy, and it certainly isn't going to help you heal. Okay, you want someone who's just on your side, that doesn't talk down about the other person, who says, yes, you can do this, you can get out of this, you can heal from it. Okay, and you can walk into the calling that God actually really has for you. All right. I just keep hearing this over and over again. So I'm just like, oh, I got to talk about people who end up in narcissistic relationships, and in the codependency, because it's not just one person, it's the other person. Why is that person with that person? Why do we end up with people who are narcissistic? Why does that happen? Why does it happen over and over again? Okay. How do we stop the cycle? All right. And the first part of stopping the cycle is recognizing you do not deserve that. You deserve better, but also recognizing that you're in it and you continue to stay in it. And you've probably been in a relationship like this over and over and over again. And you get out and then you end up in a back with someone else, but the same cycle. And it's literally because we are not taking responsibility of saying, look, I'm a needy person. Like, I need someone to need me, and that's codependency, and you have to let that go. You all, when I finally let go of codependency, it was such a freeing feeling, because then you're not attached to the outcome. And then you can actually really reach for the stars and be all that you're created to be, because it's such a form of fear. And it's a form of control, and it's a form of holding on. And what we want to do is we want to surrender. We want to let go. We want to trust. We want to trust who we are in God. We want to trust our calling. And we can only go as far as our healing allows us to go, because we can't take on a whole other dynamic and think that we're going to fly to a whole nother level, because then we have all these other people with the weight of them on us. But what we give out of is our overflow. That's how it works. We give out of our overflow. So that's why it's so important to stay on point, let go, forgive, surrender, and know that you are worth it. And you have the power to shift anything in your life. If this has helped you, go ahead and subscribe and share. I also have more information. If you want more information, I have tons of coaching programs. I work with experts all over the world, healing naturally, living a holistic life, all clean and organic. I love you all so much.